What is atheism? Etymologically speaking, atheism comes from the Greek word atheos, which means godless. Hence, atheism can be broadly construed as the absence of belief in any gods or spiritual beings. But it must be noted that the word atheism was first used in ancient Greek scholarship as a term of censure, which roughly means ungodly or impious. In a more scholarly fashion, atheism is viewed as the critique and denial of metaphysical beliefs in God or spiritual beings. As such, it is usually distinguished from theism, which affirms the reality of the divine and often seeks to demonstrate its existence. Atheism is also distinguished from agnosticism, which leaves open the question whether there is a God or not, professing to find the questions unanswered or unanswerable. There are many reasons why atheists don't believe in the existence of God or supernatural beings. Some of these reasons are: atheists find insufficient evidence to support any religion. Atheists think that religion is nonsensical. Atheists once had a religion and have lost faith in it. Atheists live in a non-religious culture. Religion doesn't interest them. Religion doesn't seem relevant to their lives. Religions seem to have done a lot of harm in the world. The world is such a bad place that there can't be a God. It is important to note that many atheists are also secularist and are hostile to any special treatment given to organized religion. It is equally important to note that it is possible to be both atheist and religious. Virtually all Buddhists manage it, as do some adherents of other religions, such as Judaism and Christianity. However, it must be noted that atheism is not a belief system nor is it a religion. While there are some religions that are atheistic, such as certain sects of Buddhism mentioned above, that does not mean that atheism is a religion. To put it in a more humorous way, if atheism is a religion, then not collecting stamps is a hobby. Even though atheism is not a religion, atheism is protected by many of the same constitutional rights that protect religion. That, however, does not mean that atheism is itself a religion, only that the atheist's sincere lack of beliefs are protected in the same way as the religious beliefs of others. Similarly, many interfaith groups will include atheists. This, again, does not mean that atheism is a religious belief. Some groups will use words like agnostic, humanist, secular, bright, freethinker, or any number of other terms to self-identify. Those words are perfectly fine as a self-identifier, but many atheists strongly advocate using the word that people understand: atheism, or atheist. As we can see, many atheists don't use those words, that is, agnostic, humanist, secular, bright, or freethinker, to disguise their atheism, or to shy away from a word that some think has a negative connotation. For the atheists, therefore, people should use a terminology that is most accurate and that answers the question that is actually being asked. It is also important to note that not all atheists are the same or believe in one principle or doctrine. Sure, the only common thread that ties all atheists together is a lack of belief in gods. In fact, some of the best debates atheists have ever had have been with their fellow atheists. This is because atheists do not have a common belief system, sacred scripture, or atheist pope. This means atheists often disagree on many issues and ideas. In fact, atheists come in a variety of shapes, colors, beliefs, convictions, and backgrounds. Atheists are as unique as our fingerprints. Atheists also exist across the political spectrum. They are members of every race. They are members of the LGBTQ community. There are atheists in urban, suburban, and rural communities, and in every corner of the world. Atheism versus theism. Please note that to say that atheism is the denial of God or the gods and that it is the opposite of theism, a system of belief that affirms the reality of God and seeks to demonstrate his existence, is inadequate in a number of ways. First, not all theologians who regard themselves as defenders of the Christian faith or of Judaism or Islam regard themselves as defenders of theism. The influential 20th century Protestant theologian, Paul Tillich, for example, regards the God of theism as an idol, and refuses to construe God as a being, even a supreme being, among beings, or as an infinite being above finite beings. God, for him, is being itself, the ground of being and meaning. The particulars of Tillich's view are in certain ways idiosyncratic, as well as being obscure and problematic, but they have been influential, and his rejection of theism, while retaining a belief in God, is not eccentric in contemporary theology, though it may very well affront the plain believer. Second, and more important, it is not the case that all theists seek to demonstrate, or even in any way rationally to establish the existence of God. Many theists regard such a demonstration as impossible, and fideistic believers, such as Johann Hamann and Soren Kierkegaard, regard such a demonstration, even if it were possible, as undesirable, for in their view it would undermine faith. If it could be proved, or known for certain, that God exists, people would not be in a position to accept him as their sovereign Lord humbly on faith with all the risks that entails. There are theologians who have argued that for genuine faith to be possible, God must necessarily be a hidden God, the mysterious ultimate reality, whose existence and authority must be accepted simply on faith. This fideistic view has not, of course, gone without challenge from inside the major faiths, but it is of sufficient importance to make the above characterization of atheism inadequate. Lastly, and most important, not all denials of God are denials of his existence. Believers sometimes deny God while not being at all in a state of doubt that God exists. They either willfully reject what they take to be his authority by not acting in accordance with what they take to be his will, or else they simply live their lives as if God did not exist. In this important way they deny him. Such deniers are not atheists, unless we wish, misleadingly, to call them practical atheists. They are not even agnostics. They do not question that God exists. They deny him in other ways. An atheist denies the existence of God. As it is frequently said, atheists believe that it is false that God exists, or that God's existence is a speculative hypothesis of an extremely low order of probability.